What's going on, guys? Welcome to another video on my channel here, Licious. I hope all of you guys are doing great. So I've been getting a lot of emails and requests asking me to give you guys an update on RepliCel and what Shiseido is doing with their RCH01. A lot of people have been very curious and very interested in this topic, and I did do a video covering Shiseido and RepliCel's RCH01 about a year ago. So if you guys are interested, make sure to take a look at some of my older videos so that you guys can get a better idea of what it is. But to kind of give you guys a background on what RepliCel and Shiseido is doing right now, RepliCel pretty much takes cells from a certain part of dissected hair follicles harvested from the back of the donor zone, which is resistant to DHT. And then they pretty much replicate the cells, a ton of them, and then inject these culture cells back into your scalp. So these cells, they're called the Derma sheath cup cells. These are the cells that actually induce hair growth to create more hair replicating stem cells from the derma papilla cells, and they're the ones that actually get shut down by DHT in balding areas. Once they replicate these cells and then inject them into the scalp, in theory what's going to happen is they're going to migrate into the hair follicles that need them on their own and basically restore the regenerative capabilities of damaged hair follicles in the bald areas. This is pretty much a cheaper approach than bioengineering brand new hair follicles like Dr. Suji's, where he's pretty much cloning. There's a lot of misconceptions, and Dr. Suji and Shiseido and what RepliCel and Shiseido is doing are not the same. So RepliCel and Shiseido, they're pretty much replicating stem cells, versus Dr. Suji, who is actually trying to clone these hair follicles so that he can go ahead and implant them by having an infinite number of grafts. So the study is being financed by Shiseido, and they maintain the license to pretty much use this hair growth therapy RCH01 throughout all of Asia. And just to kind of go over some of the basics, phase 1 of their clinical trial confirmed the safety profile of a high dose of derma sheath cup cells for patients with pattern hair loss. Long-term safety of these injections was demonstrated over the entire 5-year follow-up period of the trial. Local injection tolerances was confirmed with few scalp irritations that went away. And histopathological evaluation of injection site biopsies taken at 6 months, 12 months, and 24 months after injection did not reveal any pathology that was indicative of any tumors or cancers, which is always a good thing. The long-term systemic safety of RCH01 was also confirmed, as none of the systemic adverse events reported during the extended safety evaluation was related to treatment. So pretty much they're saying that after 5 years of conducting their phase 1, there was no problems, there was no cancers or any tumors or anything like that. And ultimately what they're saying is that it was a pretty much safe method to try to regrow hair. 19 patients were tested in phase 1, and the 7 top tier responders in the trial saw greater than 10% increase in hair density at 6 months post-op of their injection. And at 24 months, the average hair density increase for the same 7 participants was at 8.3% over baseline. So now it did drop a little bit, but I mean, it's kind of expected because they only injected a high dose once into the scalps of these people. And then 3 of the 7 trial participants maintained a greater than 10% increase in density over baseline. The largest increase in hair density over baseline observed in this group was a 21% increase at 24 months. And the top 10 participants reported at least a 5% or greater increase in hair density at 6 months post-injection, with an average increase of about 11.8%. This group demonstrated a sustained response at 24 months, which averaged a 4.2% increase over baseline hair density. While there was a high degree of variability in the hair density between individual participants at 24 months post-injection compared to baseline, and overall stabilization of hair loss was observed among all the patients treated per protocol. Having said this, we know that 5% on average increased density for hair is not that much. And I did see a video on YouTube, and also some people who were being very skeptical when it came to RepliCel and Shiseido for the lack of results after their phase 1 in regards to their density because it was so low. But what you do have to remember, their first trial was only using 1 single dose, right? So you can't really see that much of a result just from their 1 single dose. RepliCel did say that later on, based on the data that they found from their phase 1 trial, long-term survival of injected stem cells improves both with smaller dose size and with several sessions of injection spaced over a set time course to cumulatively increase in injected cell numbers. So their goal is to correlate and optimize cell dosage and use repeat treatment sessions to achieve peak efficacy in terms of increased hair density. And this is exactly what phase 2 was all about. They had several different regimens which were tested, including different concentrations of cells and different treatment schedules, and it also included single and repeat injections. So a lot of the skepticism came from their phase 1 after just one injection. I wouldn't be too skeptical about this because, I mean, this is only from one injection and you can't really expect too much just from getting one injection and then following them over a period of 5 years. And so phase 2, they did different combinations trying to see exactly what was more effective in terms of increasing density. Phase 2 had 160 participants who were in good health with mild to moderate forms of androgenic alopecia, and the Derma sheath cup cells were isolated from a small punch biopsy taken from the back of the subject's scalp in the donor area that's resistant to DHT, and the cells were once again replicated and then reintroduced into balding areas on the subject's scalp. After injection was performed, subjects returned to the clinic for assessment of total terminal and vellus hair density and cumulative hair thickness, as well as the efficacy and safety of the injections. Participants will remain in the trial for approximately 39 months. We are actually approaching that 39 months, and in the next few months, they're saying around quarter 2 or quarter 3, we should hear back and get the final data of what happened in their final phase of trial 2. So I'm really looking forward to an update. We really haven't heard anything back other than the fact that they've almost pretty much are done with phase 2. The other issue that I found was that this is also contingent upon the new Japanese laws that provide accelerated pathways to commercialization of different types of cell therapies. And it might not be available to everybody. I know a lot of people really looking forward to getting this treatment. If it actually does go through, they actually want to go to Asia or Japan and get this treatment because, in my opinion, I think it's going to be a lot cheaper than actually cloning hair follicles like Dr. Suji. This is strictly coming from my opinion. I feel that it might only be available to people in Japan and citizens of Japan and possibly other Asian countries. I've read that even after approval and commercialization, there might be a post-market surveillance period of up to 5 to 7 years, after which treatment is still going to be evaluated for safety and efficacy, and every patient who actually enrolls in the treatment is going to have to be entered into a registry. It sounds a little bit concerning, and it's not wrong for you to feel that this might be somewhat of a hindrance. But I feel like, once this does get approved, this is actually going to be Shiseido's 6th regenerative medicine that has actually gone through the accelerated pathway, and it's a good thing that Japan's regulatory body is nowhere as pushy or as powerful as the US's FDA. So I don't think that they're going to block any medical tourism, so people should be able to come to Japan and other Asian countries to receive treatment. But like I said, we would still have to wait until we hear further information from them. There is that possibility that given their conditional market approval, it's not going to be available to everybody, just citizens of Japan, and this is most likely because of the liability under this conditional therapy, but I can always be wrong, so we just have to wait and see. So like I said, as far as cost, I feel like it's going to be a lot cheaper than Dr. Suji's hair cloning, only because these are just using stem cells and they're just replicating stem cells instead of actually replicating hair follicles. If I had to put a price to it, I would say that it's going to be in the thousands, ranging anywhere from $1,000 to maybe a few $1,000s USD. But like I said, this is only speculation. I don't know exactly how much these injections are going to cost, but I feel like they are not going to cost an arm and a leg like Dr. Suji's, but this is my opinion. In conclusion, I still believe, and Shiseido and RepliCel is actually one of the companies, along with Dr. Suji, where I really feel like they have come a long way, and I feel that everything that they're doing is very promising. And you do have to know that Shiseido is not some type of startup biotech company that needs financial backing. They have the money, they are a real company, and I feel like they are the real deal. They even had the 5-year follow-up, which is pretty much rare for cell therapy products, and it truly demonstrates their commitment to the highest quality of clinical research. And it's not like they're just trying to rush into things. They're actually taking it step by step and then just really evaluating and making sure that this type of stem cell research does work and is safe for people that are using it. And so I'm very optimistic when it comes to RepliCel and Shiseido, and I'm very eager to hear back on the results in the next following months. Like anything, the hardest part about this is just the waiting game. We never know exactly when these companies and these research are going to be finally completed. And so you just have to be patient, and as soon as I hear anything back from them, I will give you guys another update. The other thing that I wanted to address is that I get a quite number of emails and comments on my YouTube channel, and these viewers are asking me if they should wait on taking minoxidil or finasteride, and even holding off of getting a hair transplant because we have, hopes of Dr. Suji and RepliCel and Shiseido coming up in the market with a possible cure for hair loss or some other type of stem cell research that claim to cure baldness. So to give you guys my insight and my opinion, I would say to take advantage of the treatments that we have right now. That includes, whether you use finasteride, minoxidil, derma rolling, nice roll shampoo. If you guys in other parts of Asia, I know some places like in Korea, they do approve the use of dutasteride for treating male pattern baldness. And I'm pretty sure there's other treatments, there's supplements. Do your best to hold on to the hairs that you have. Don't wait for these treatments, because I've realized that over the past few years and over the past few decades, I'm sure a lot of you guys do know this, there's been so many claims of, curing hair loss. We had a lot of different types of lotions, potions, snake oil. A lot of these people claiming that these are going to be the end all to hair loss. It's not wrong for you guys to feel a bit of skepticism, because I still feel it myself too. And even with research regarding Shiseido and Dr. Suji, RepliCel, these are never guaranteed. They're not promised that these are going to go through and then that these are actually going to be a cure for baldness or a better supplement in addition to what we currently have to treat pattern hair loss. But yeah, take advantage of what you guys have right now. We have, like I said, finasteride, dutasteride, minoxidil. The only thing that we can do is keep the hairs that we have right now and then hope for good news for the hair loss community. We have Dr. Suji's research. They should be done with their research in the end of 2018, so we should hear back from them. And then we're also waiting on RepliCel and Shiseido to get their finalization of what phase 2's data came out to be. So the only thing we can do is just take advantage of what we have right now and just be hopeful, but always trust but verify. You never want to put all of your eggs in one basket, because sometimes things fall through and sometimes it doesn't work out. There's issues with the research, or they didn't see the results that they want to see as far as density or whatever. So like I said, go with a hair transplant. Just make sure to, if you do end up getting one, make sure to find a reputable doctor, and make sure to be conservative with your donor supply, because if you're suffering from hair loss at an earlier age, there's a good chance that you're going to end up bald. You might progress to a normal 5, 6, or 7. Just because you're balding at an earlier age, but that's not always the case. But like I said, we do only have a finite number of hair grafts that we can implant when it comes to hair transplantation, so make sure to take that into mind. But yeah, if you guys like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, leave me some comments if you guys have any questions. I also do have a Patreon if you guys are in a position to be able to donate. I'm trying to do some shout outs. I'm doing some derma rollers. If you guys can commit to a monthly donation, I would be very grateful. I'm also having my ebook coming out end of next month, so if you guys are able to contribute, make sure to take a look at some of the links in the description box. But once again, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you guys next time. Take care.